Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 2, Take 1 of Confessions of an Average Golfer by the Lazy Lobbers. I'm SJ.
I'm OP.
I'm SL.
And we are the Lazy Lobbers.
Yeah, we are.
So,
hello, everyone.
We made it, Episode 2.
Exciting. I can't believe we're actually second episode.
It's at this point we realised that we've got no good jokes left, no interesting golf stories, and it's all downhill from here, isn't it?
I was going to say, it's a bit of an error having an hour long for the first one because we've used everything up that we ever wanted to speak about.
We'll muddle on. Should we just, now we're starting, should we just reflect on podcast number 1? And I think I feel like I have to start off by saying huge thank you to everyone that listened and supported and pretended to care ultimately for a week. So
I was going to say, I think the stats at the end show a pretty nice picture with what was it, 120 listens and then over 100 views on YouTube. So I mean, yeah, more than we could ever thought.
On the listens, this was the little stat that I'm most proud of. So thank you to the people that listened in: United Kingdom, Ireland, Canada, United Arab Emirates, Bermuda, Australia, Spain, and Portugal.
That's great, isn't it?
Who's Bermuda?
I think it's got to be Henry Banks. He's the only person I know that lives in Bermuda. And actually, funny story if he's listening, and for everyone else, it's just ridiculous. Henry Banks moved to Bermuda to work and live, having never been to Bermuda before.
That's pretty great, isn't it?
That's unbelievable.
That's really good. I mean, that's living the dream, isn't it?
And my last shout out actually goes to all of the females that have listened to the podcast and have given us lots of feedback. Like, I actually hate golf, but it was remotely bearable. And I think
was probably the best voice note I'd received.
Wasn't it?
Shout out Sophie. Yeah.
In a sort of non-objectifying way, I think we should name all of those female listeners the Lazy Lobettes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. 100%.
Definitely.
Hopefully they are okay with that. So big shout out to the Lobettes.
Definitely. I think that was the thing that from a golf podcast, trying to get those listeners in is really important. And I think it was quite funny actually listening to those people that I didn't think that would be any interest to them. But in the end of the day, when they found it funny, it was, testament to the Lobbers, really, isn't it?
I think genuinely, I really did mean what I said last week. If we had about 10 people listen to this, friends and family, I would have been chuffed. And to even have some of the feedback was amazing, wasn't it, after day one? So I kind of got to midweek and I was like, are we famous? And then Sam Jackson said, I'm going to quit my job. Let's do this full time.
Because my colleagues are listening to this and I just confirm I did not say that and I'm fully committed. Before we forget, last little bit of intros, also quite big news. As you know, Confessions of an Average Golfer by the Lazy Lobbers is sponsored by Birksey Drinks. And the guys at Birksey, after we hit triple figures on listeners in episode 1, they've decided to reward us with a little discount code. So if you go to birkseydrinks.com and you enter Lazy Lobbers at the checkout, OP, you get
20% off your order.
Yes, you do.
And I can confirm I got my first double dozen this week. Double dozen. And it hits different. We had a good few last night. And like I was actually telling the guys before, we had pizza last night from a very well-known Fratelli's. And
other Fratelli's available.
The replacement was for Diet Coke and it went down a storm. It just really, really good drink. Would recommend at the highest level. So we've genuinely not been paid for this, have we? We've not been paid yet.
We can't be bought, but if you do buy us, this is the kind of review you'll get within the first 5 minutes of the episode.
Love that.
Email sl@lazylobbers.com. Why don't we get into some golf chat? For anyone that's not seen it, I think it's on our Instagram page at Lazy Lobbers. The European Tour video that you put on the story yesterday, Ollie, of the angry golfers. It was
me.
SL player.
Okay. Well, Ollie, well done. Huge gem. That's amazing. It was so funny. I thought, brilliant.
I was going to say, It's so good. That the first bit of like the if you're feeling glum, put up your thumb just gets me every time.
I love it. Just so good.
Yeah, the bit that's missing for me in that, which is a shame, is have you seen the video of Tommy Fleetwood missing the putt and then he just flips at the bird? Have you seen him do that?
No, I haven't.
He missed a putt and he's on camera and he flicks the bird like really like subtly, just goes like this at the ball as it goes past the hole, and then he goes and makes the return, and it's just brilliant, I think. And we'll dig it out. We'll put it on. We'll put it on.
I was going to say, I think it's definitely one of those things that we've all. I mean, we very much try and take our golf really not very seriously. And if you miss a really easy putt, between the three of us, if you get angry, it just doesn't really sit well with everyone else. It's kind of our sort of the way that we play is very relaxed and like taking the piss out of each other. And I think that it's very difficult because I've not necessarily had golf as a way of if I've missed a putt, being so annoyed with myself that I will have to say something or utter something or snap something or throw something. And it's a weird way, isn't it? Because it's the way that we play, isn't it?
On that, I've got quite a good story actually. So, as you guys know, very well supported by some of the Aberdeen Scottish lads that in that group that I've kind of been sending you. Now, this is like a kind of social golf that I've been included in, and they're just genuinely nice guys. But when I first met them was on a stag, and this stag basically resulted in day drinking in Liverpool, and then we ended up in this sort of indoor putting sort of place. And it was a pretty cool place. It was like a big warehouse, glow in the dark paint on the walls. Really, really cool. And drinking as you go round. It was like there was dildos on the putting mats. It was a really cool place actually.
I was going to say, it sounds like Mr. Mulligan's mini golf in Milton Keynes, and then you said there are dildos on the wall, and then it took a different turn.
It really is quite bizarre. So I just met these guys. They all work in oil, cash money. These lads. And I'd got paired up in this group of four. I got put in this group of 4 lads, and they basically started on this first hole and went, so 50 quid each. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, for the winner. And I was like, what? Really?
50 quid at Mr. Mulligan's mini golf. You love to gamble though.
Per head. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of money. Anyway, we're going round. And I was losing, like it was 18 holes, so I was losing the front 9. But these guys, they are the most competitive bunch of lads I've ever met in my life. So when there was this like under the breath of that's you cheating, all hell broke loose, like clubs were going everywhere. People were taking full swings with putters and balls in this warehouse whilst we were doing Jaeger bomb shots on the way round. I ended up winning. I genuinely won somehow because on the back 9 they were all focused on like slamming each other, trying to hit balls at each other, hitting others' balls out of the putting mats.
Huge pain.
And then I couldn't take the money because everyone was like, "You're cheating! No, you're fucking cheating! You're cheating!"
Everyone's too angry.
And I just met them and I was like, "No, that's right, lads. We'll put it," because we were going to the Grand National the next day. I was like, "Just put it into that fund." And anyway, we won on the Grand National as well. So kind of.
I was going to say you are definitely the one that pushes the betting in SL, and you really enjoy the betting, but you only enjoy it when you win. It's one of those things that when you have to give over your best ball, you end up not that enjoying the betting side.
But there is a difference. I've shed a lot of money to Sam actually over the last couple of months. I have to admit, but there is nothing better than either playing skins or £10 on this or whatever it is. But when it's 50 quid, it's like actually that's a lot of money.
So
I should just clarify. I love those guys so much, and they've become such a good group of friends, even though they're arguably all nutters.
All right. Well, we're really happy you've got friends that aren't the lazy lobbers. So good for you. No, do you know what I've actually started doing? It's pretty tragic. I've had to set up a side pot in my Monzo to put all of the money that I've won off Sam for the day that I then have to give it back to him, just to make me feel better about it.
That's good.
But I expect when we were playing, a couple of weeks back, kind of that last match before lockdown, I'd come back from 2 down and I was playing so well, and then suddenly you just kind of came out of nowhere on the 14th, and the 14th at Bedford it's just like a make or break hole. It's that hole on any golf course that you play at, and you can be 1 under through your round and play off 15, and this hole, out of bounds twice, you end up in a medal with 15, and it
sets the tone. Just
really
quickly back to angry golfers, Sam. I would say that one of your character traits, which is not that ideal, is that you are the kind of guy that hits an iron shot, right? And it instead of it landing within 10 foot, it lands on the fringe of the green, and you get extremely cross, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, that's so bad. Whereas actually, when I hit a bad shot, I'm like, I've hit it out of bounds from 90 yards with a pitching wedge.
You've hit the hole.
So can you just explain that? There's nothing more upsetting. No, it's only 15 foot.
No, it's. Do you know why I get angry? Actually, since we've joined this club, I've put so much pressure on myself because of the handicap they've given me, and I feel like I have to make the green in 2, because like a double bogey, it's virtually a third of my handicap. I'm like, oh, brilliant, that's on 1 hole, and that's how my mind thinks. Is like, how many times we got to the 9th or the 10th, and I'm like, brilliant, I'm 11 over. I mean, that's nearly double my handicap. How do you get back from that?
We all do it, and we all do the maths. We go, so there's 12 holes left, and I'm already at my handicap. So if I just like par in, I might make 36 points.
We actually had a really good question coming through Instagram actually regarding this. I just thought I'd bring it up with regards to what would be sort of target handicap for all 3 of us. So what do you think you'd want to aim towards?
I've purposely, again, not looked at all these questions because I thought they were so brilliant last week that I wanted to make sure that they kind of came as a surprise. So, and again, an amazing question, whoever that is.
I'm currently 11, and I think I should be 14.
As in,
that was SJ.
What would you aim towards in your golf career, though? What would you want to get to? What would you be pleased with?
Oh, I see. What's my ideal? Right, I see. I misinterpreted that.
Hang on, because you're 11, but you've been playing to 11 since your new driver.
That's true.
Yeah, just fair enough. But I think realistically,
I think mentioned before, if you get yourself a pair of irons that actually go some distance, you're handy. You're single finger handicapper.
So what has happened though is that I have clearly kind of got better at playing the Bedfordshire, because that's the only place we play. So I know we're flitting around a lot here. Last week we had that little segment on what would you score at the Masters. And I went in and I said 120 at Augusta. And you guys were like, what, 120? And you started saying 100 over. The feedback that came through was overwhelmingly that you guys were honestly smoking something a bit weird. And
I said 110, but would be ecstatic with under 100, which I think is probably within that feedback.
But the
maths got slammed as well. It was just not good.
The point I'm getting to is my own father, right? He decided to find the Lazy Lobber's email address, didn't WhatsApp me, he emailed me, and he said, ha, love the podcast, not sure about your score at the Masters, you can barely break 100 at Brocket Hall.
I've never met your dad, and I love him so much. I remember that day. I remember that day on hole 19, the app where you can look at other people's scores. I remember refreshing the app, knowing you played at Brocket Hall, and seeing like 104 come up. And honestly, that made my day. Like, literally made my day.
Especially because he ditched us, didn't he? He ditched us to go and play Brocket Hall.
He did. Right, tell the story. So I ditched you guys because the course was closed and you decided to go for a range session instead of playing. I went and played at Brocket Hall, and you got to the range, and what happened?
It's closed.
Why was the range closed?
I think the
what was it? Was it flooded?
The ball robot
range.
The ball robot got stuck in the water.
That is the ultimate commitment to golf. Not even the ball collector could make it to collect the balls through the rain, and you still wanted to go and hit some.
Yeah. So handicap. So I would say for me, starting Bedfordshire as a single figure handicapper, that it would be the goal to get back to that. So I reckon I'd like to be. It'd be nice to sort of to sit at the sort of 9. Would be
Agreed.
Good.
I think it's a good place to be.
But yeah, they're currently sitting at 13 or 12 odd, 12.3, I think. So yeah,
any lower, I think as Sam says, it gets a bit stressful. Because I think we'll always be most likely because we don't kind of fully concentrate the whole time. You have the odd like sausage sandwich at the halfway house, and then you're trying to eat it, and you've got like brown sauce on your hands. Like we're not taking it seriously. So a triple bogey could come along at any moment, and being off like 6, and as you say, Sam, you have one bad hole, half your handicap allocation gone. It just kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit, I think. So 9's probably a lovely handicap.
Would you say you'd like to go up, or would you say you are not like to, or sort your aim to?
I'm almost identical to you. Like I would love, I love being a single finger. But yeah, 9 would just be amazing. The only thing that kind of plays on my mind a little bit is with 9 or even 10 or 11 or 12 is that I think at the Bedfordshire, that's very achievable. And that's probably going to Bryson DeChambeau moment. But I think that is quite, we're all right there. As soon as we go anywhere else, i.e. the one day a year we play at Woburn, or get invited on a corporate day and we're at a very, very good venue, you're so out of depth. Like I sit there and I say I'm like a 9. I'm a 9, for example, handicap, and people are like, wow, oh wow, you must be really, really good. And then you suddenly see like, fucking hell, he's watching me, he thinks I'm good, I better hit a good shot.
Off the first shot.
Oh shit! I've sliced my first drive, and he thinks I'm a really decent golfer. Because 9 at Woburn, or a kind of a similar club, you're probably a scratch golfer. If I'm being very honest, at any other kind of like the Bedfordshire. If you're 9 at Woburn, you are a scratch golfer at Bedford, I would say.
Yeah, probably not far off. It's just the greens, I think. The short game piece, just like as we said with the whole Augusta thing last week, just adds on, at least kind of a shot every couple of holes because they're just so tumultuous. I feel like there's so much to discuss, Ollie. What other discussion topic did you have?
Well, I was going to. So basically, the next discussion topic was the Tiger Woods back surgery. So just another spinal fusion for the GOAT.
Came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
No one knew. That's just, you almost think it's like a joke.
As if lockdown wasn't bad enough. As if January wasn't bad enough. Tiger Woods has hurt his back again.
Yeah.
FML, not happy about it.
He needs to get himself to the Blackberry Clinic to see Dr. Back Pain, doesn't he, really?
That's true. Yeah.
Every time I mention it to the big man, Simon, he always says, he should come to see me and try a bit of prolotherapy. Dad, he's probably tried all that. He's the best golfer of all time. He's
a billionaire.
He's probably looked at some injections in his back.
I mean, hope he just gets well soon and can maybe even just him being at Augusta just adds a bit of spice to it, doesn't it?
I did actually read. I did a bit of reading just to see what. Apparently, it's not as serious. It's just purely. It's a bit of it needs to happen, but it's not one of the big ones that he's going to be sort of non-walking for a while, etc. So, as I said, fingers crossed that'll be nice and quick.
You know what does bring me a fair level of optimism with Tiger is that he's got Charlie Woods and he's not going away from the game. I think ultimately if he stops playing golf, yes, that's sad, but that day will come. And, when he stops playing golf, he's not going to move away from the golf game. Like he'll still be in and around it, even if he's coaching people or just being in and around tournaments, playing Augusta, once a year. Like it will just make it a monumentous event, won't it? When he just turns up once a year.
It's just such a legacy, isn't it? That's the thing. Like the fact that anything could happen. That's what's so exciting about him. So someone, maybe it'll be Charlie. Someone needs to bring that air of like, all bets are off all the time.
I was going to say, I put a flutter on Tiger at the Masters. I think he was 60-1 or 65-1, and any odds on Tiger they have to be lower than that because people. I think there was at one point he was sitting at sort of 4th or 5th into the second day, and I thought I only had a couple of quid on him, but I was like, there's never a waste of a couple of quid on him, is there?
He's just got such a back catalogue of wins and experience that you know that if he's winning with 6 holes to play, or if he's in within 1 or 2 shots with 9 holes to play, you know, it's unlikely he's going to have a meltdown. He's got the killer instinct in him, and he won't crumble. And he's like, look, I've proven myself, so I'm not worried about knee knocking it on my first major. You know, he's just done it all now, so it's just like I agree with you, Ollie.
Did you hear that story about was it either his driver or his caddy? They were driving somewhere, and Tiger Woods made the driver pull over on the side of like a motorway because he had needed to practice his swing so badly before he could get home. I didn't quite know if it was true or not, but it was like one of those things that they were on like a few hour drive, and he almost got this like impulse that he needed to get out and just like swing for like at least 5-10 minutes.
I've got a little bit of trivia here for you. Can't remember the exact terminology. I'm sure the Norses that listen will correct me if I'm wrong. But question to you boys: who is the highest paid sports person out of New Zealand?
Out of New Zealand.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So who's the highest paid sports person to come out of New Zealand?
Oh,
Tiger Woods is caddy.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously not fun because you do that. But yeah, that's correct.
One of the big bits of feedback that we got was the moving up in the order of Kevin Na or Kevin Yar.
Oh, everyone loved it.
I was going to say,
and this has to go to OP because it was his idea. Like very, very
bit of creativity, done. Right?
And
so
I have to say, Ollie, creativity. You should be proud of this. I think I've told you. Kevin Na was used in a work meeting. Someone had listened to the podcast, and we were like, "Oh, should we do that or not?" And this guy went, "It's a bit Kevin Na, that isn't it?" How exciting is that?
Oh my god!
He's like Kevin Na. I thought.
Also, how good was he? Won the Sony Open after the podcast was released.
Yes, meant to be.
I know, we've had some good feedback. So moving on. So we're going to go a bit of Kevin Na or Kevin Yar. I've got 4 points here. I've incorporated a question from Instagram into us as well, just to get it there. I'll get to that as well. So number 1, music via speakers on the golf course. So either in your bag, in the car,
good
little UE Mega Boom, other speakers are
Very
available.
Good question. I'll take this first. So I think this is seasonal. I think in the winter it's got absolutely no place. In the summer, 30 degrees, you got the beers in the car, and this is very like from our partners across the Atlantic, isn't it? This kind of trend, but I do think that there is potentially a place for it in the summer.
Couldn't agree more.
I think as well as seasonal for me is locational. So like Golf Boys trip, Spain, Portugal, Turkey, like happy for it to happen. Kevin Yar.
Like
BBC,
7 birdies in the buggy.
Yeah.
It's you are going, aren't you? I don't know why 7. Actually, 10.
We're kind of sitting on the fence. So SJ, you agree? Do you a bit of Kevin Yar in some stages, Kevin Na in others?
Couldn't agree more. It's Kevin Yar as a concept, but it's amplified if you're in Spain and it's sunny.
Okay, right. Next, we have a bit of fashion here. Hoodies on the course. As golf.
I'll go first on this one, given that I have been guilty of this over the winter months. So I'm going to say Kevin Yar. I think, look, why not? Like, why not? I kind of just think it's great if it's freezing cold and you've got a bit of warmth around the neck. So, yeah, Kevin Yar.
SL?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, I always, as I said in the first pod, try and think of the starter, the young golfer that's potentially never played golf before. And I think if someone turns up in a hoodie to play golf, you shouldn't be slated for what you're wearing. Ultimately they've turned up to the course to try something new. So I'm Kevin Yar as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say I'm Kevin Yar on that one. Right. So this is the one that's incorporated into questions from Henry Banks. It keeps coming up.
So Banksy's got good
Banksy
content in these, isn't he?
The brand G4, Kevin Na or Kevin Yar. So I actually had to do a bit of a Google on this because I wasn't quite sure. I'd heard of the brand and I had a Google and my answer came pretty clear. So SL, you seem like you
yeah, I'm very familiar with this brand because I'm a bit of a nose when it comes to golfers and what they wear. And those that know G4 will know Bubba is heavily sponsored by G4 in terms of his shoes, clothing, and I think glove.
Yeah.
It is an absolute Kevin Na all the way until the day I die. So actually, here's a good example. I looked at their hoodies the other day. They've got hoodies for sale online, G4, with skull, cross and bones. No word of a lie. It's like £240. No, get out. Get out.
I have to agree. I'm a bit of Kevin Na, but I think the main thing for me is I'm really not a fan of the coloured glove.
Well, sorry, just before we move on, you're not getting away from it that easily. We've just decreed that skull and crossbones on golf equipment is the worst thing I've ever seen. And your Super Stroke with fluorescent green skull and crossbones on it is also a shambles.
I think
Bryson DeChambeau.
DeChambeau. Oh well, at least it was fake and it was $4.99 or $5.99 or something. So. Are you
never changed?
SJ, have you come across the G4 brand?
So I have to admit I hadn't.
Yeah,
I hadn't. I'd seen Bubba shoes, but never put two and two together. I just had a quick scroll while we're looking now. I can't do it justice. Well, look, they've got a pair of bright green high tops that have got G4 written on them in size like 96 white font. They're horrible.
So I'm just going to add to the list of brands that we're never ever going to get sponsorship from. So I'm going to add to American Golf. I'm going to add G4 Golf.
Yeah, no, for sure. Unless the price is right. I mean, there's a price on everything. Charity starts at home, doesn't it, lads?
Exactly.
I mean, G4, I think they were ultimately the first brand to do the high tops in golf.
They're awful.
And then Puma.
Do you know what I have seen though? Sorry. So you guys know me. You know I'm a bit of a fan of camo. I've been saying for a number of years that camo's cool. And I've just seen the limited edition camo glove from G4. And it's cool. Like it's real cool. So
it's not cool.
It's not.
It's not
it
cool.
is. Again, I'm a bit annoyed about my green screen. But it's cool.
It's just not cool.
Okay, so we've got SJ is hitting a bit of Kevin Yar on G4, so next time we'll see.
No,
him.
I'm not. No. No. Kevin Yar.
Okay, 3 Kevin Nars. Okay, last one for this week. We've got submitted via another question is an NR in a competition. So for our listeners, that is not handing a card in at the end of a competition because you've either played so badly and you just don't want your score to be registered. So yeah, Kevin Yar, Kevin Nar, not having a card in.
I think OP should start this one.
For me, it's NRing a comp is a bit of Kevin Nar for me. I don't think it's on. I think no matter how badly you play, I think you just gotta. I think you got to suck it up because I think if you come last, you come last. You can't blame anyone else but yourself. You can't blame your clubs. And I think the only reason why you should, which is in the rules, I think, is if you're hurt or injured, then you can NR. But I think a little bit
or you're getting bollocked for playing your second 18 of the day and your like divorce papers are in the post, then you can NR and run home. But I agree. Any other circumstance.
To be fair, actually, I have to just say that from my last standpoint, I've actually just a bit of a hypocrite because me and SL actually had a
correct. I was just going to say.
I was just thinking about that, and we were playing with the president of our club and his partner, and we went round 8 holes, and then it was miserable weather. I think we'd got out late, didn't we, as well, or something.
Yeah, the course should have been closed. There's just no way people should have been playing that day. I'm
disappointed in you guys. I turn my back for 1 minute and you start NRing. Goes against every sort of moral fibre.
In a singles competition, I think an NR is a no-no, is a Kevin Nar. But in at the right time, doubles competition, miserable weather, Guinness and a breakfast is looming. All
right. Well, let me put it this way, just to be clear. So if you shoot 140 or you shoot 9 Stapleford points, in my eyes, you have beaten every single person that NRs.
100% agreed.
Yeah, no.
So losers NR, I would say.
No, so this is where I disagree with you because, and it's really hard to describe because on this day, I like waterproofs, they'd gone, they were out of the window. Water had seeped in through the zip, through the collar. I was soaked through to my balls, and it was also -1.
Yeah.
So by this point, I was not just wet, but I was like shaking of cold. All my gloves were wet. Everything was wet. And the president of the club looked at us and went, Guinness and a breakfast.
Yeah.
And in that time, it was like, I don't know, castaway moment where you see the ship and you start just swimming. You know, I looked at Ollie and I was like, we've never done it before. What do you think? And then OP was like, I'd be up for playing 18. And I was kind of just trying to like chip away at him. Guinness?
Yeah.
So,
I think I definitely agree with that. So that's the end of Kevin Nar or Kevin Yar for another week. So I hope you enjoyed it this week. So I think the next thing to go into is a bit of questions of Instagram. We've had quite a few in. So let me just go through some of them. So from Luke Griggs 16, who can hit the furthest drive?
Oh, so actually, what we should do here is put your hand up. So if like 3, 2, 1, who thinks they can hit the longest drive?
Sorry, just to jump in here, I don't think any of this is necessary. I think I could probably just reach into my trophy cabinet, and I could probably just hang on.
So
I think this probably signals who is the longest driver.
I think Ollie and I will both agree it's certainly not you.
Everyone listening at home, I'm holding the Lazy Lobbers Christmas Bonanza longest drive trophy. So is there any questioning?
Are you the only one to hit the fairway?
Correct. Yeah, he hit a pitching wedge, 135 yards, and just hit the fairway. That's all he did. But how can you even pull out that trophy when you did that?
We promised when we started this podcast we wouldn't let a long drive come between us.
We also promised that we're not very competitive golfers.
Okay, next question.
No, hang on, because I'm really interested by this. Who do we think is the?
I think SL hits the longest drive, but only because my swing speed is about 0.3 miles an hour.
Actually, do you know? So I was going to say I think it should be you, but it's because of that, because you slow your swing down.
Yeah.
Right. So it's Sam, but it should be Ollie. But ultimately, I'm normally the longest drive cookie.
So funny.
Great. Next question then.
Sam Levy or it's Ollie Petrucci's. Sam Jackson he never came into that, did he?
So what we should say though is we should do a quick shout out, shouldn't we, to Ollie Sanderson, mentioned last week, who hits the longest drive ever.
Okay. Yeah,
ever.
He hits his 3-iron longer than we all hit our drivers.
Yeah.
Can we also just we mentioned some noises earlier? I'm keen to be a man of the people, and I'm keen to be a podcast that provides fact and insight. So we had a noisy correction last week. We said that Bryson DeChambeau had club head speed of 200 miles an hour. Correction, he has ball speed of 200 miles an hour.
That is very noisy, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a question from Rory, 24. When and when not?
This is the Aberdeen block.
When and when not to give a gimme.
Okay, so this I didn't see this. That ties into the putting story I told you earlier, and then subsequently our social tours. They've got this massive thing of like, that's a gimme, that's not a gimme, to where it's maybe like 6 inches. Like, oh no, that's not a gimme, and they just lose their minds over it. So I'm really interested by this kind of topic of conversation.
It is massively. It's in the situation, isn't it? I mean, in a match play comp, I think it's all about getting in the head. Like at the start, giving gimmies of sort of 2 foot, pretty decent gimmies, and then by the end you're giving nothing. So it can be a bit of head game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I golf with another set of guys. Sorry, everyone, and we go away for a golf tour once a year. The rule we play is a putter grip. as a gimme distance, because the ethos
Your
behind
putter
that
grip is absolutely massive.
No, not mine. Mine obviously. Yeah, that's also my trophy cabinet because I've got this the 39-inch putter grip. No, but the comment there is, as you say, that we're all kind of pals together, but we want to have a good friendly competition across the week. So it's kind of like you don't want to see people missing things from a foot because it's just a bit heartbreaking for everyone. But yeah, putter grip seems to be like sensible enough.
Yeah.
But match play, yeah, turn the dial as you see fit, definitely.
Right. So I was going to say we've got a hell of a load of questions, but I think we're going to have to add them to an archive of when we end up not getting very many questions for our podcast. But we'll go through a couple more. So
give it another week.
Ollie Sanderson,
full disclosure,
number one, self-proclaimed number one Lazy Lobbers fan. He's given us quite a few questions. I'm going to pick one. Dream sponsor list: clothing, clubs, balls.
Hell of a question.
I'm so glad I didn't read these questions. That is just amazing. I love him. That's amazing. Okay.
So off the bat, SL clothing.
I love Under Armour. Oh,
perfect. SJ.
Wearing it now.
If I just had to pick one brand, I'd say Nike.
So I'm going to go for a newfound McCade. I really enjoy them. I've only got a couple of things.
Forget those guys.
But really,
those?
Okay, SL clubs,
TaylorMade,
SJ clubs,
Titleist.
Yeah, I think
wow.
I love the look of Titleist, but I can't hit them for toffee, so TaylorMade for me. And last of all, balls, SL.
I so conflicted here to my roots of Chrome Softs footballs or the new TaylorMades.
The TP5 picks.
TP5 picks. Yeah, I think I'll go TP5 picks because
that's for me as
well. Feel a bit more premium.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Vice Pro Plus with Playboy Bunny stamp on them. I'm actually going to do that as a video for everyone. I'm going to do the Playboy Bunny stamp video.
Definitely. Okay, we have a good question, OS. So we've got a question from a wife, Alex Levy _1. What is the course?
How is he?
What is the course you would all want to play the most and why? Great question.
Well done.
Fantastic.
That's why I married her. I'll take this one. There is. Actually, that's a really good question. There's just so many. I mean, Augusta is just number one, isn't it? But
the rationale being that that's the one you basically cannot play. And therefore it's just so much more enchanting. Like you can pretty much get on anywhere, but yeah, Augusta's like,
there's a couple in South Africa that Alex's dad, we always talk about doing like this trip of just going to South Africa and playing loads of courses, and even in Scotland.
Scotland's got some beaut courses. There is one course, I think it's closed down now, and I kind of saw it on one of the many other golf Instagram pages out there. There's a course in Hawaii, which looks like where they filmed Jurassic Park. And some of the scenery, like volcanic, mountainous, luscious water features, looks pretty amazing. I'll try and find the name of it for next week.
I'm not hugely well golf traveled, admittedly. I'd love to play some of the real famous ones, St Andrews, Pebble Beach, those sort of ones. I was just listing off nice golf courses, but yeah, it's a difficult one.
I've been.
I actually have got one. So there's this. It's like Sun City in South Africa, and it's usually either the last or the first European tour event, and you're literally putting and you've got rhinos and elephants.
That's cool.
Wow.
In the background, cool. Like they're literally just in the river alongside the green. So yeah, that'd probably be up there.
Nice. Right, we're gonna go two more. We've got a question from M Blanche 990. M Blanche.
Mikey B. Yeah.
So, good question. 9 holes with Tiger at the BGC, which you all play together in a 4-ball, or 18 holes at Augusta in singles.
That's up with Banksy. Who's this guy?
I love that. Wow. No, it's got to be 9 holes with Tiger, and it'd be amazing because it would be. Can I just watch him go 9 under so that I can every time I play it, I think about how he did it.
But what about our main rule? What about our main rule of the lazy lobbers don't get out of bed for 9 holes?
I've never heard that rule, but I do agree with it.
Never heard that rule.
It's Augusta. Surely it's Augusta.
No, you're right. Tiger Woods, it
Singles.
wouldn't be very fun to play with your mates. That'd be rubbish.
Yeah, Augusta every day. I mean, whatever it was, if it was the birth of my second child, if it was a marriage, if it was whatever the thing was, if someone said to me, singles in Augusta, you in? Yes. Whatever. If I have to quit my job, yes.
That says it all about you, that you would rather go and do something on your own than actually do something fun with all the lads.
Or does it show that I'm in for a penny, in for a pound? Yeah, I'm fully committed.
Okay.
So I'm finding this one very difficult. You two both have very opposite ends of the spectrum. I think I'd go 18 holes at Augusta.
Oh,
wow.
Oh,
wow. I cannot wait to hear what people say to this in reaction.
You're mad for going 9 holes. Like Tiger, yeah, for sure. But 9 holes at
the problem
your home
is,
course.
SJ, the one thing that you've actually sort of kind of forgot is that you wouldn't really be playing with Tiger because he'd be at least 100 yards ahead of you every single shot.
Well, if he's 100 yards ahead of me, he'd be 150 ahead of you. So...
Okay.
Right. Well, honestly, lads, enjoy your round of golf on your own at Augusta, and I'll go and just play pairs with Tiger, play some skins.
Maybe Ollie's behind me, so I can just shout back to him. Just be like, wins. It's a 2-club wind off the left.
Okay.
Next
right. We're going to
question,
go.
Savages.
We're going to go one more question, and we're going to go. It sounds like a bit of a story time. Will SJ ever forgive Matt for the golf day that never happened? This is M Blanche 90 again, coming in with some good ones.
We were trying to keep this episode shorter, but we obviously won't be able to do that. And this is going to feel like a personal vendetta now. So basically, the abridged version is that this guy, we used to all play together at our first ever club, and he kind of did a whip round on WhatsApp with all the lads and went, "Oh, wouldn't it be good to organise a golf day for all the boys?" You know, we kind of all left the club by then and were like a bit older in life. Well, yeah, that sounds amazing. Top man. He's like, okay, can everyone just ping me a tenner for the deposit and then I'll get it booked? So the summary being, he just took everyone's tenner and never even tried to book the golf day. And the reason I know this is because he tried to book it at the club that my dad used to be seniors captain at. And dad used to obviously know all the management. So he'd be like, we're like, how are you getting on with that golf day? He's like, oh yeah, lads, just like, I've booked it, but we just need to kind of like do a bit more admin on it. And I'm like, dads, any know if any bookings have come in at the club? He's like, none whatsoever. And so he just took everyone's tenner. And to this day, I've never had it back. And it's like, it's ridiculous to lose a friend over a tenner. I said I'd do the abridged version, but I've got passionate. What sort of character just takes a tenner off all his mates and never gives it back? I was like, look, it's petty, but ultimately delete from life because you just like done your mates for a tenner. There you go. The golf day never happened, and I'm still not over it, clearly.
But definitely, one thing I would like to say is thank you to all the people that sending in questions. I mean, I've got about 20 to go through, and we can only pick a few each time. Otherwise, I mean, everyone get bored of our voices. But we can still go through them at a later date if we ever get to that stage. So please don't stop sending them in. So thanks for sending them in. Yeah. That gets to the end of the Insta questions.
Well, I've got a couple of other things I want to talk about. Their kind of developments have happened this week. So first development is we took delivery of the perfect practice putting mats, and they obviously heard the podcast and then chivied along and got the delivery in. They came, box in pristine condition. I did an unboxing video the other night. Check it out on the YouTube page. Fantastic. I've been on it non-stop.
It's everything I thought. The craftsmanship on the mahogany wood is as it looks in the pictures, isn't it? Though, like I also had
a few noises that were like, just to be clear, in your unboxing video, you've said that's mahogany. It's definitely not. I was like, thank you for that. I recognise it was not mahogany.
It is really good.
It is great. I was going to say, one of the things I did notice is you definitely need to give it a good iron because at the stage the edges are sort of curled up, and like no matter where you hit the ball, it goes in the hole to start with, because it just like rolls straight into the hole.
Mine's still got a little right to left on it where I just can't quite iron out, but it's really good. Does yours return the ball, Sam? I missed that kind of banter.
Does yours now?
I'd say it returns it. So first thing happened, in my unboxing video, I was bragging about my personalized initial golf balls. Started putting. Within 5 minutes, Gordon the dog's taken them upstairs and chewed them all. So they're not so round anymore. So they sometimes don't come back down the track. But on the whole, yes, I think they do.
So I think
Okay.
so
Mine doesn't.
Yeah, so mine, when I had it in the original position, came back 100% of the time perfectly. I then moved it just because it was in the main walkway of the house. And I mean, so, and the new position now doesn't ball return. So it's definitely, I think, like slope of ground.
Fine lines on the gradient.
Yeah.
No.
But would recommend. So that's been good. Ollie, you've done some putting challenges. Everyone should check those out on our social pages as well.
Yeah.
We've been working hard on the website. So again, another thing, last week we said that www.lazylobbers.com was coming soon. We're pretty close now. We're on final revisions of the fascia of the website, but it's looking good. And actually, I know we kind of don't want to make this about shout outs the whole time, but I do want to say I highly, highly recommend Ian at WeStartAny.biz, who has been making our website for us and sorting out all of our kind of techie admin stuff. Amazing service, amazing, nice guy. Plays off 3 though, which is a bit too good for the lazy lobbers. So sorry, Ian, but just fantastic. So if you want to get a website set up, just check out Ian and his £1 website deal.
Yeah, definitely. He's done some really good work with us, and I think good little relationship going forward.
So if you're listening, Matt, you can have 10 websites from Ian for that tenner that I never got back. You can have all sorts. So, and let's just do one last topic. Surely we cannot let this go unsaid.
I feel I know what's coming, but go on.
So, as you'll know, we're very active on the social channels. We're on Insta at Lazy Lobbers, and we all share a log-on to this account, right? So all 3 of us can access Lazy Lobbers from our phones. So you can imagine the surprise when we log on to Lazy Lobbers and I go on recommended for you or Reels, and I cannot find a single golf video on there because all I've got is 20-year-old girls doing TikTok challenges. And I just want to know who is responsible for searching for that.
Right, for a full disclaimer.
We all know it's one person and one person only. His name is
if I see itty bitty waist, big trunk video or whatever it is one more time.
This is a man that's had to ban himself from social media for a number of weeks because he gets into these dark holes on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, because he just can't get himself out.
So look, full disclaimer, it was not me that started. And look, I know you won't believe me. But in all sincerity, I once went on to the Reels and the thing, and I was like, who's been looking at these videos? And then I've suddenly started looking at all these Reels of TikTok dance challenges. And then it's just like, I'm definitely responsible for the continuation of it. But I didn't.
So I think what's happened is that. So I actually thought originally when he sent the videos it was TikTok, so I got a bit confused, and then you said it was actually on Instagram. So apparently, if you finish a video, if you watch a video to its entirety, that genre of video keeps coming up. So by you watching them to start with, has started it because you've finished the video. And then that from then on, the continuation of that is started from you watching the video.
So I was on the sofa the other night, again, watching these, like, I was like, this is just crazy. And Alex was like, what are you watching? I was like, oh, and just my phone was just so visible, and I just started like laughing, and I could not stop laughing, and I was like, it wasn't me. I was like, I didn't start this, but look at this, and I just took her through every video.
I can hand on heart say that I've never flicked through Reels on my personal page or the Lazy Lobbers page.
I can totally agree.
My personal page, if you go onto those Reels, it's just golf. That's what's really funny. It's just golf, and then the Lazy Lobbers page is just 20-year-old girls doing dance videos.
Well, now you know the insights of one of the Lazy Lobbers.
So we'll never get any good golf content because it's gone.
Game over.
So you need to stop watching them from start to finish, and then we might start getting some golf content, but we know that's never going to happen.
Oh, God. That's really tickled me. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad we flushed that out.
Can't wait to go
But
downstairs and tell Alex, like, I'm really sorry about this next pod. I loved it. Joe, I look forward to this every Saturday. So it's a really, love you guys. Good lockdown, this one.
Yeah.
Good lockdown
Really
activity.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you guys said, thanks for listening, everyone. That's been season 1, episode 2, Confessions of an Average Golfer by Lazy Lobbers. Now available on the Apple Store, SoundCloud, Spotify, and all other good streaming platforms, including Deezer that no one ever uses. So thanks, everyone.
Bye.